Chapter 8. Little woman turned out to be a carrot dangled from in front of me. Because as soon as I became Evelyn Hugo, young blonde, Sunset had all sorts of movies they want me to do. Dumb sentimental commentary stuff. It was okay for two reasons. One, I had no choice but to be alright with it, because I didn't hold the cards. And two, my star is rising. Fast. The first movie they wanted me to star in was Father and Daughter. We shot it in 1956. Ed Baker played my widowed father, and the two of us are falling in love with people at the same time. Him and his secretary me with his apprentice. With me as his apprentice. During that time, Harry was really pushing me to go out for a few days with Brick Thomas. Brick was a former child star and a Manti idol who, honest to God, thought it might be the Messiah. Just standing next to him, I thought I might drown in the self-adoration cascading off him. One Friday night, Brick and I met, with Harry and Gwendon Peters, a few blocks from Chasins. Gwen put me in a dress, hose, and heels. She put my hair in an updo. Brick showed up in a dungaree and a t-shirt, and Gwen put him in a nice suit. We drove to Harry's brand new crimson Cadillac Ritz with the half a mile to the front door. People were taking pictures of Brick and me before we even got out of the car. We were escorted to a circular booth where the two of us packed ourselves in tight together. I ordered a Shirley Temple. "How are you, sweetheart?" Brick asked me. 18, I said. "I bet you had my picture up on your wall, huh?" It took everything I had not to grab my drink and throw it at his face. Instead, I smiled as politely as possible and said, "How did you know?" Photographers snapped shots as we sat together. We pretended not to see them, making it look as if we were laughing together, arm in arm. An hour later, we were back with Harry and Gwenton, changing into our normal clothes. Just before Brick and I said goodbye, he turned to me and smiled. "Gonna be a lot of rumors about you and me tomorrow," he said. "Sure are. Let me know if you want to make them true." I should have kept quiet. I should have just smiled nicely, but instead I said, "Don't hold your breath." Brick looked at me and laughed, and then waved goodbye, as if I hadn't just insulted him. "Can you believe that guy?" I said. Harry had already opened my door and was waiting for me to get into the car. That guy makes a lot of money," he said as I sat down. Harry got in the other side and turned the key in the ignition, but didn't start driving. Instead, he looked at me. "I'm not saying you should be dallying around too much with these actors you don't like," he said. "But it would do you some good if you liked one, if things progressed. Progressed past a photo up or two. The studio would like it. The fans would like it." Naively, I thought I was done pretending to like the attention of every man I came across. "Okay," I said, rather potentially. "I'll try." And while I knew it was the best thing for my career, I grinned through my teeth on dates with Peter Greeter and Dobby Donovan. But then Harry set me up with a date with Don Adler, and I forgot why I would ever have resented the idea in the first place. Don Adler invited me to Mokumbo, without a doubt of the hottest club in town, and he picked me up at my apartment. I opened the door to see him in a nice suit with a bouquet of lilies. He was just a few inches taller than me in my heels, light blonde hair, hazel eyes, square jaw, the kind of smile the moment you saw it made you smile. It was the smile of his mother he had been famous for, now on a handsomer face. "For you," he said, just a bit shyly. "Wow," I said, taking them from him. "They're gorgeous. Come in. I'll put them in some water." I was wearing a boat-neck sapphire blue cocktail dress, my hair up in a shingon. I grabbed a face from underneath the sink and turned the water on. "You didn't have to do all this," I said as Don stood in my kitchen waiting for me. "Well," he said, "I wanted to. I've been hounding Harry to meet you for a while, so the least I could do is make you feel special. I put the flowers on the corner. Shall we?" Don nodded and took my hand. I saw father and daughter, he said, when we were in his convertible and headed over to the Sunset Strip. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Ari showed me an early cut. He said he thinks it's going to be a big hit. He thinks that you're going to be a big hit. What do you think? We were stopped at a red light in Highland. Don looked at me. I think you're the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen in my life. Oh, stop, I said. I found myself laughing, blushing even. Truly, a real talent, too. Then when the movie ended, I looked right at Ari and said, that's the girl for me. You did not, I said. Don put up his hand. Scout's honor. There's absolutely no reason for a man like Don Adler should have a different effect on me than the rest. From the rest of the men in the world. He was no more handsome than Brick Thomas, no more earnest than Ernie Diaz, and he could offer me stardom whether I loved him or not. But these things definitely reason, humbling for pheromones ultimately. That and the fact that at least at first, Don Adler treated me like a person. There are people that see a beautiful flower and rush to pick it. They want to hold it in their hands. They want to own it. They want the flower's beauty to be theirs, to be within their possession, their control. Don wasn't like that, at least not at first. Don was happy to be near the flower, to look at the flower, to appreciate the flower for simply being. Here's the thing about marrying a guy like that. A guy like Don Adler. Back then, you're saying to him, this beautiful thing you've been happy to simply appreciate, well, now it's yours to own. Don and I partied the night away in the Mocambo. It was a real scene. Crowds outside packed high as sardines trying to get in. Inside, a celebrity playground. Tables upon tables filled with famous people. High ceilings, incredible stage acts, and birds everywhere. Actual birds live in glass aviaries. Don introduced me to a few actors from the MGM and Warrior Brothers. I met Bonnie Lakeland, who had just gone freelance and made it big with Money Honey. I heard more than once someone refer to Don as the Prince of Hollywood, and I found it charming as he turned to me after the third time someone said it and whispered, they are underestimating me. I'll be king one of these days." Don and I stayed at Moncombo well past midnight, danced together until our feet hurt. Every time a song ended, we said we were going to sit down, but once the new one started, we refused to leave the floor. He drove me home. The streets quiet, the late hour. The lights dim all over town. When we got to my apartment, he walked me to my door. He didn't ask to come in. He just said, "When can I see you again?" "Call Harry and make a date," I said. Don put his hands on the door. "No," he said. "Really, me and you." "And the cameras?" I said. "If you want them to be there, fine," he said. "But if you don't, neither do I." He smiled, a sweet, teasing smile. "No," I laughed. "Okay," I said. "How about next Friday?" Don thought about it for a second. "Can I tell you the truth about something?" "If you must." "I'm scheduled to go to Trocadero with Natalie Ember next Friday night." "Oh." "It's the same, the Adler name. Sunset's trying to squeeze all the fame out of me that they can." I shook my head. "I don't think that's the name," I told him. "I've seen Brothers in Arms. You're great. The whole audience loved you." Don looked at me shyly and smiled. "You really think so?" I laughed. He knew it was true. He just liked hearing it come out of my mouth. "I won't give you the satisfaction," I said. "I wish you would." "Enough of that," I told him. "I've told you when I'm free. You can do with it as you will." He stood up tall, listening to what I've said as I've given him orders. "Okay, I'll cancel Natalie then. I'll pick you up here on Friday at 7. I smiled and nodded. "Good day, Don," I say. Good night. Good night, Evelyn," he said. I started to shut the door, and he put his hand up, stopping me. "Did you have a good time tonight?" he asked me. I thought about what I was going to say, how to say it, and then I lost control of myself, giddy to feel excited for the first time. "One of the better nights of my life," I said. Don smiled. "Me too." The next day, our pictures appeared in Sub Rosa magazine with the caption, "Don Adler and Evelyn Hugo make quite the pair."